I was doing what God didn't recommend last night and doom scrolling while I was laying in my bed looking at that bright rectangle, and I saw this on Twitter, this post right here, this post stating that men are no longer obsessed with women. And she was getting ratioed in the comments talking about how women aren't worth it, and it's a bunch of men agreeing with other men in the comment section, which is very interesting. I enjoy this. They say, well, I'm not obsessed with women. I don't really care about that. Now, if you go through these men's profiles, you will see them replying to every OnlyFans model and going crazy and saying the most devious, depraved stuff. You're going to see that in leaps and bounds. It is actually insane. It's comedy. But a lot of the quote retweets was people quote retweeting her of her own tweets stating how she hates men. Oh, men are bad, men are evil, men suck. And then, and this is what really inspired me to make the video, I saw immediately below this post about the men thing, I saw a post commenting about Cardi B's body stating, man, I don't know why old boy gave this up. Look, he had all that and he gave it up. And I said, wow. Men have to one day realize that a woman's body matters significantly less than their personality. And people were angry at me. They were arguing with me about that. It was interesting. And it causes me to really think about the obsession aspect, because men are wildly obsessed with women. This strange belief that desire evaporated because the culture shifted, or because phones got thinner, or because feminism finally succeeded in making men less interested. That narrative is true. And if you believe that you are correct, you have to believe it with your whole chest. You gotta have faith that you're correct. You have to refuse to look at how obsession behaves. Obsession did not disappear. It did not. It adapted. It learned to travel through fiber optic cables, comment sections, DMs, donation alerts, burner accounts, and anonymous usernames that reset every single time they get blocked. Every single time. Hundreds of foreign men cold calling women, sending pictures of their phallic member, their Johnson, their beef jerky, wiring money they cannot afford, rearranging their entire emotional lives around a stranger on a screen. That is fixation. That is obsession. Entire life savings disappear into donation queues because attention is good. Oh, she's so pretty, she's so nice. If I have all this money, she'll love me. This is amazing. The behavior looks quieter from a distance because it happens one-to-one, privately, endlessly, without the public rituals people associate with romance. See, the volume of these poems and all this obsessive nature, it did drop. It definitely dropped. But the channel at which it happened with, it multiplied in leaps and bounds. It multiplied in droves and bounds. It definitely did. It's sucky, it's garbage, and it's agitating. What do these channels look like? What does obsession look like nowadays? You may be asking yourself. Open the comments under any video on the hub, or X videos, or X hamster. Go ahead and open the comment section, and you will find fixation stripped of the pretense of anything. Desperation typed at scale. Ownership fantasies screamed into the void with they don't even expect a reply. Man, I'd treat her right. Man, I got a big Johnson. I got a big pack of hog right here. Whoa, he's really getting at her. Haha, she likes BBC. It's crazy. This is why I also say that ask your friend if he's a male, what his preference and phallic size is when he is consuming things of the promiscuous variety. Ask him what kind of penis he likes the most, because if you look up the common most categories, you're gonna see BBC. That's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see big dick. That's what you're gonna see. That's realistically what you're gonna see. Thousands of men addressing women who will never see their words, never know their names, never acknowledge their existence. That's ritualized longing for nothing, repeated daily, maintained over years with no outlet except more comments, more scrolling, and more silence. You know what happens every single time? They say, well, these women are gooner baiting on stream. That's what they're doing. That's what's happening. It's ridiculous. They have to do this every time. It'll be a woman wearing comfortable clothing, and because she has a nice body and she stands up to use the bathroom, she'll say, I gotta go poop, and everybody will say, whoa, she's good, she stood up, that's crazy, what, that's insane. Same thing you see whenever you see a post where it says, oh, is this woman inappropriate for wearing a skirt when she has a big butt? She shouldn't be wearing a skirt when she has a big butt at a preschool. This is insane. Is a teacher allowed to wear these clothings? That's obsession. That is obsession with the female form in droves and bounds. It's stupid. It's insane. Scroll through the chat of any female Twitch streamer with fewer than 300 viewers. Any woman you could possibly imagine, you will see entitlement, emotional dumping, jealousy projected onto other viewers, boundary testing. It's insane. You'll see everything. Silent tallying of who gets attention and who gets ignored. Small audiences do not dilute obsession. They concentrate it into smaller things and smaller flows. That's why they say, well, women have an easier time on Twitch. Women have an easier time on Twitch when they're smaller because men will donate in droves and bounds. Men have a more difficult time, but at the top, when all that's stripped away and there's too many men, then the men that would be in the top streamer stuff, they go down to the lower streamers to try to find a girl and try to become obsessed with her. And that's what happens. They keep going down over and over and over again. When a streamer has, let's say, millions of followers, those individuals, they feel invisible. When a streamer has dozens, the individual will feel like they matter. They could be seen. They could be the one who finally breaks through. And that proximity is important because that is obsession. That intoxicating cage is obsession. For some odd, dumb, stupid, idiotic, and I can only imagine you have as much brain as you have earwax if you come to this reasoning, people love to romanticize the past by imagining obsession and all these handwritten poems, songs, roses, dramatic gestures. But even then, it was horrible. It was disgusting. It was this entitlement dressed as devotion. You ever see an old movie? And you'd see a guy, and he would continually pester the woman, and she would say, "You're annoying. I don't like you." And he'd say, "You're gonna like me eventually." And by the end of the movie, she would be wildly obsessed with him. That taught a whole generation of men to constantly never take no for an answer. It's disgusting. Women historically have had far fewer ways to refuse, to speak, to document, to push back, to be believed. Silence made obsession look polite. That's what happened. Fear made persistence look romantic. That's what happened. That's the reality of it. The aesthetic fooled everyone into thinking it was gentler than what it was. The stalker, well, that's the suitor. The harasser, that's the persistent lover. The man who would not take no for an answer became the hero of his own story, and the woman trapped in that story became the ingrate who broke his heart. Oh, he was a nice guy. He bought you flowers, but you didn't like him. Yeah, but he bought you flowers. You're not going to find a nice guy like that. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? There's not hundreds of men on the earth that would find you attractive. There are hundreds of thousands of people. We have so much power. We have the ability. We have the option of choice to see all the potential options on earth. We can see that now. Think about that. Also, the most important thing, women can speak now. They can block, record, expose, organize, fight back, and that causes men to get scared. Oh, well, a woman could block me. She could say no. She could speak up. She could expose me. They could organize against me. They could fight back. How everybody's gonna know that I'm an abuser. This is gonna suck. This is horrible. That shift is feminism in motion. That's what it is. It's power redistribution now made tangible. Power redistribution always feels like loss to the people who benefited from the imbalance. That is how power redistribution works. Many men did not become calmer, kinder, less obsessed. No, you know what happened? They became constrained. That's it. I'm not gonna talk to a girl. She could post me on the internet and then I look like a loser, bro. I look like a loser. I'm not gonna talk to a girl. I'm persistent. She just calls me obsessive. You are obsessive. You are. When abuse becomes risky, behavior mutates. It doesn't vanish. Control, well, that's fixation. You get this surveillance, this parasocial devotion. There are so many men that I know that will come up to me, or they're my friends, and they will say, "Hey, you see this girl on Instagram? She's hot, isn't she?" I'll say, "That's Lean Beef Patty." "Yeah, but isn't Lean Beef Patty so hot?" I'm like, she's great at working out, and she has great methods, and I'm proud of her devotion. I'm not really sure. "Yeah, but you're being performative, bro. You telling me you wouldn't, be obsessed with her and want to message her?" I messaged her 12 times. She hasn't replied yet, but, that's crazy, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's just the woman on the internet that got muscles. "Yeah, bro, but most women ain't got muscles." I don't know. Go to a gym? Go to any Planet Fitness ever. "Yeah, but, this is an exception." Go outside. What's wrong with you? Well, that's it crazy. "Yeah, but I've been commenting on all of her stuff. I've been liking, reposting, and all this stuff, and she'll eventually notice me." No, she won't. Bro, calm down. Take a breath. Please, this is insane. This is insane, dude. What are you doing? I would argue that obsession has never been worse. It has been horrible in leaps and bounds. I don't know why. I have no idea, and I will never understand how the online ecosystem functions by thinking that obsession does not exist. It evolved in the worst way. Anonymity lowers inhibition. See, platforms reward engagement. Money creates artificial intimacy. A man who would never approach a woman in public can spend hours in her DMs, on her streams, in her comment sections, building a relationship that exists entirely in his own mind through his infatuation and obsession with the female form in all capacities. The streamer does not know him, does not see him, does not owe him anything, but to him, the donation he sent, the comment he left, the hours he watched, that's connection. That's investment. That's the beginning of something that will never begin, and it's insane. And this is just a little aside. I'm married. My wife does content. She makes videos on Instagram and she makes videos on TikTok. That's what she does. That's her job. She has the same job as me. The amount of men that I get to experience through her DMs on a daily basis is insane. She has her phone always on airplane mode for one reason and one reason alone. If she takes it off airplane mode, her phone will overheat because so many people will just call her on Facebook Messenger. It is crazy. I've never seen it. Her phone just overheats. It's nuts. I'm not even sure what's doing it. I have no clue. This is the most psychotic thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. You know what happens? And this is so important. So back in the day, it's not as if people didn't do horrible things to women. It's not as if these men just didn't do these bad things. There was still assault. There was still things. It was just normalized. It was just so normalized in culture. There is no moment of rejection because there's no moment of approach online. There's no closure because there's no opening. The loop feeds itself without ever needing mutuality. It doesn't need it. The loop did not exist at this scale before the internet. And pretending it represents detachment is crazy. You're just willfully blind. You're willfully blind. Obsession used to come with authority. That's the difference right now, right? When you were obsessed, you felt like a man. You had authority. It came with the power to act, to pursue, to demand, to impose. Now it comes with impotence. It comes with deep impotence. Most men are horrified by the loss of unchecked power. That's it. That's literally it. They don't care about the harm that power caused. They just don't have the power. Domination stopped working. Fixation became the substitute. Watching becomes safer than acting. That's what it was. And many men feel this way because they're stupid. I hate to say it that way. It's really messed up to say it that way, but they are. And I know what you're going to say. Well, what about you? Huh? You're different than all men? I'm going to do something fun for you here. I'm going to say 51%. Right? Can I say 51%? Because I'm going to say 51% of men are like this. That way, I can say majority. 51% of men are like this. How's that? Easier for you? I'll be in the 49%. Everyone, if you're in the 49%, welcome aboard. I'm proud of you. Welcome to this video. 51%, which is the majority. That's how you get a majority vote. That one vote. That's how you get it. That's what's going on. None of the actions men take online replace connection. None of it satisfies the underlying hunger. But all of it keeps obsession alive, sustained, and circulating through the same channels day after day, year after year. That's what it is. The evidence is everywhere. Once you stop measuring obsession by these outdated aesthetics, it's everywhere. Comment sections, donation queues, DMs that never get answered, burner accounts that accumulate years of longing without ever touching another person, and the forums where men share screenshots of conversations that exist only in their own minds. It's resentment that curdles when a streamer dates someone else, when a creator acknowledges a different fan, when the object of fixation proves concisely she was never theirs. It's fixation. That is obsession. It goes through and through and through. That's what happened. Obsession is still real. Men are still wildly obsessed with women. I'd say even more so now because it's easier to do. That's what I'd say. But who am I, just a lone man that gets to witness the droves and tries of the internet? In any capacity, thank you so much for checking out my content. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. And let me know how you feel about men's obsession and things of that variety. Hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. If not, it's quite alright. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laurel Angelo. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you